Hello, we're back again for the ninth part in this beginners series, and we're gonna, as usual, continue where we left off with our Georgian house. And ultimately, what I'm aiming for is a very simple looking thing. We're not going to go crazy with the texture. We're not going to go crazy with beveling or anything like that. We just want to finish with a nice enough looking thing. I'm just deleting that cube. So what we'll do next, just to make this texture not so flat, is we'll use something called bump. And bump is a way of telling light where it should highlight and where it should be in shadow by approximating that effect with a completely flat surface. And I'll show you what I mean by doing that. So if we press Shift A, and then under vector, you've got bump. If you drop that down here somewhere, close to there, and then out of here, in this brick texture node, you've got the color, which comes out, and then you've got the factor, a factor is always pure black and white information. So that's what bump nodes deal with. They only want black and white information. They don't want color. And by the way, if you want to move nodes, just press G as you would in there. So what we can do is we can take the factor from the brick texture and we put it into the height input of the bump. And then if we connect this normal, again because it's purple, from this normal to that normal, you'll see, am I looking through the right thing? Yes. Let me put a light somewhere. Don't worry about this, about what I'm doing here. I'm just plopping a light so I can easily show you the bump. GY, and let's make that much brighter, 1000 watts. Okay. So, in fact, I think it needs to be inverted. So if we click on, we're still on the cube. If you go back to here and you click invert, it will do the opposite. It will swap the black and white. And though it's slightly difficult to see, there is a slight bit of height to these bricks now. They don't seem so flat. As I say, it's a bit difficult to see when you've got, and maybe if I turn off the thingy. Let me show you an easy way to show this. If you press Shift A, add a texture and a noise texture, drop that in, and then set the scale to 100 and just drop the factor into the height. There, now you see what I'm talking about. So this is just a noise pattern, just black and white and greys. So it gives the idea there is there is texture to these bricks, because it's approximating how the light should be falling as if there were undulations in the geometry. So though it's not as visible with the bricks, it's there. And as I say, I want to stay as simple as possible. So that'll do for the brick texture. Now we have this issue of, I've just gone back into edit view mode and tabbed into edit mode. What we want to do is we want the windows to not show and the door to not have bricks. That's not how it works. So if you shift select all of these faces, I'll show you how to add another material, because these are called materials. This one is called material 2. There's a material 1 somewhere. In fact, we'll just call that bricks. Okay, so once you've selected all of your faces that you want to be a different material, over here for the first time is the material properties. This is representative of what's in here, but just in a condensed form, all under submenus rather than visually represented like this. So if we select these windows, we can see already that this, if we go tab into edit mode, object mode, so we can see that this object has the material bricks. This is where the materials on this will be shown. So bricks is at the top here. now we want a second material for these. So what we have to do is under the in this menu here, or in this section here, the plus arrow, plus arrow, click that, and then you've got this thing comes up. And if you click new, you've now got a new material that will appear in the shader editor. But what we have to do is we have to tell this material which faces it should be applied to, because the bricks is on every face, but we want this new material to be just on the windows. So once I've selected the windows, I've pressed new, I've got that. All I need to do is click assign. Then tab out of edit mode and then have a look, and now you see the windows are of a different color. And I think I'm just going to make them in the shader editor down here. I'm just going to make them slightly blue and very reflective. So roughness right down. We can add, I mean, I could be putting transparency, but it's fine. Okay, so that's the windows, and we can just now put a quick material on these beams. We probably don't need to unwrap these, but well, we'll see. In fact, what we need to do is apply our modifiers, because at the moment it's not real geometry, it's just pretending to be, because it's being modified. So at the moment it's still just Alt Z, it's still just this edge, there's nothing to texture. So what we need to do is apply this modifier. So if you just hover over the skin, and again the modifiers apply in order. If you apply the mirror after the skin, it won't be a problem, but trust me, you've got to go from the bottom to the top. So I need to apply the skin first, like this, and then I apply the mirror. So now if I press tab to edit mode, you can see there is now physical geometry. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to need to bother mapping these. So we can just do the same with the skin, Control A. Same with the skin, same with the horizontal beams, just select them, hover over skin and Control A. Okay. Now, if we select one of these and then click new in the shader editor, and we'll just give it a wood type color. Kind of like that, I guess. But it's way too reflective for wood. So again, the roughness will bring that up to about maybe 0.8. And I think we will have a bit of noise, a bit of bump on this one. So again, Shift A, texture, vector, bump, and then just plug the normal into the normal down here. And then if we Shift A and add a texture and noise texture, drop that in there, and then just plop that factor, black and white, remember, into the height, and it's done actually exactly what I wanted to do straight away, probably because it's been stretched, but that's perfect. So now a quick way to apply it to the rest of it is to just click and then shift click all of the beams, and we only have to click this because this has been applied mirrored. And then the last thing you shift select will be the thing that you want the rest of these materials to copy from. So I want these to have this material. So if I make sure that the last thing I select is the thing I want the material to be copied from, and then if you go to Object, Link Transfer Data, Link Materials, right there, boom. And now we've got beams all over the place, like that. The bump hasn't done that because of the mapping. So if we just tab, let me just check my time. Yeah, last thing we can do, tab, press A, and then press U, and let's just try cube projection. Hasn't worked at all. Let's try U, smart UV. No, it's because of the UVs. We'll look at that in the next one. We're not far off though, and we'll have an ass done. All right, lovely jubbly.